Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Akhandamandalakaram Vyaptam Yena Characharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So, I'll take up your question, Raghuji, by the process of how let's do a quick revision. And from there, then we can move on to looking at verse 57 and onwards. So, Anilji is a resident in our building. He is a part of our Bhagavad Gita study group in the building. And since I have started sharing the links on the same groups, so I think he got the link, so he has joined. So welcome, Anilji. And I will send you the link for the text. There is a Kindle version. You can download it. Or you can obviously buy the hard copy, whichever suits you. We are studying the text called Aparokshanubhuti. Now, let's start with a question. I'm going to ask you. Firstly, we have been talking all this while about this thing called Satchitananda. Satchitananda, right? But before that, when I ask somebody here in this group, you, me, whoever, right? All four of us, where are you? Will you ever reply, I am pervading this universe? Will you ever reply like that? Where are you? I am sitting here. Are you blind? Can't you see me? Right? So our basis of starting our journey is the identification with the body. Not even the mind. Straight away, I am here. It is this body. It is not even talking about the mind. The mind could be at that point of time in my in-laws' house. It could be in my daughter's house. It could be in my son's house. My mind could be anywhere. Where are you? You are here. So very clearly, in the first few 25, 26, 27 verses, Acharya very strongly keeps on repeating, you are not the body, you are not the body, you are not the body, because it is an eternally changing thing. Eternally changing thing. Including when the body dies, it changes into ash, it fertilizes some other trees, it becomes another tree. The body becomes another tree. It becomes grass. It possibly, the remains which are there and thrown away into the water, some fishes eat it, it becomes fishes. So the body is eternally changing. What about the mind? The mind is also equally eternally changing. What about the intellect? The intellect is also eternally changing. So he brings about this point saying that the scriptures mention that you have to look at what is this change being measured against. In verses 43, 44, he talks about that eternal against which we are measuring this change. Now, if I go back to saying, fine, we have been talking about this in all our examples. We talk about the fact that we have no name for it, but we call it Satchitananda. We call it existence, consciousness, bliss. Where did this bliss come from? Existence, okay. Is there any point of time, other than in deep sleep where you are completely inactive, your body is not there, your mind is not there, your intellect is not there. Other than that, is there any point of time where you have doubted your own existence? Is there any point of time, right through your entire life? Even if you are saying, I doubt my own existence, there has to be a you that is doubting the existence, isn't it? Because you are, so both consciousness, you are aware of the fact that you are doubting. There is awareness. and you are aware that you are you. There is existence. Now, when Acharya takes the Advaitic view, you see, he does not limit it to saying existence in you as an individual, but existence as the substratum of everything that is around us. Is there anything that you can perceive of which is non-existent? Nothing. Everything exists. The quintessentiality of it is that it exists. It is there. That the quality of existence is that which is an essence of everything, and therefore it is called one part of Brahman called Sat. Then comes the second part, which is saying, is it aware? So again, you look at it, you are swimming in an ocean of awareness. And you are aware that you are aware. Last time when we were discussing, Lalita ji mentioned about the fact that human beings are, there is a saying about it. But the fact is, I mean, that is a humanistic view. The human takes the stronger upper point and says, oh, I am the only one who is aware that I am a human being, and so on and so forth. We don't know if dolphins also say the same thing, right? But the point is, we are aware. Where did bliss come from? Where is this question of bliss? Any thoughts? Existence, consciousness, I can understand. Where is bliss? Where did this whole concept of bliss?
So this is the how do you say, the feature or the trait. You know, there are moments when you can't say that you are happy. You can't say, you're definitely not sad. You can't say that you are happy, but you seem to be at peace. You seem to, you know, you're in the zone. At least say that they're in the zone.
Okay.
Just they go, execute, things happen. It's in the zone. There is a certain amount of peace in that frame of mind, so to speak.
Okay.
That's what I associate with bliss. Because there is no, at that point, there is no emotion, there is no fear, there is no anger, there is no joy. You can say joy, but it's a different type. It's not the joy that you have when you go on a roller coaster, for instance. So,
okay.
So that's what I associate with bliss.
Okay.
I think
yes.
it is something like for no reason or for every reason.
Mm-hmm.
I feel happy for, it need not be I'm happy because of this and this reason. Not like that. I'm just happy to be happy for everything, grateful and happy.
Okay.
So maybe for Satchitananda, the grateful part doesn't come maybe. I don't know how it gets shown. But I feel when it is for no reason or for every reason, or rather, I would say for the reason of being in joy. For the very reason of being in happy or this, when one feels that kind of joy, that kind of this, maybe I would think it is bliss.
No, okay. So at this point of time, just to counter this, both the question, how long does such a situation last?
We don't know the time. There's when you are in that phase, time itself doesn't seem to matter. So
okay.
It can last a fraction of a second. It can last for a very long time. We don't know. That's the, when you are in the zone, you just don't know how the time is passing.
Okay, and then do you come back from there?
Yeah, we come back. We are brought back to reality.
I'm leading you up the garden path. I'm leading you up the garden path.
Says, I need to eat. I'm hungry, and you're brought back.
So
now, actually, it can also be that one feels that at all times, irrespective of some things may go according to our plans or how we would like it. Sometimes it may not, it will not. It doesn't matter. Even when it doesn't, one feels happy that, okay, that's how it is supposed to be. Fine, that's fine. And when it happens or whatever, how it is, that's also most welcome and happy. So there's no question of going out of it or coming into it. It's, I think, being happy at all times, being joyful at all times.
So here is where our rishis dive deep into this particular question. And they dive deep into it. Having dived very deep into this question, they said there is ananda can be of three categories. The first is called Vishayananda. Vishayananda. Ananda that I am receiving from this world of objects, names, and forms. So my rasagullas are giving me ananda. Whatever be that rasagulla, it is giving me ananda. Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi says that ananda is also because of the fact that the desire for that ananda, that particular rasgulla, vanished for that moment. Because it vanished, to use Raghuji's words, there was peace. And Shantin Atyanta Gacchati, we see in the Bhagavad Gita, right? He describes the eternal place in Bhagavad Gita as Shanti. Atyantika Shanti. Ati Antika, without any end Shanti. Shanti is peace. Shanti is also the same as Ananda. So now what is this Ananda? Where did this come from? Oh, it did not come from the object. That much we understand. Because if I feed you 25 of the same rasagullas, by the 26th you have decided to vomit. So the object by itself does not bring you the Ananda. The Ananda is in you. That is stage one, Vishaya Ananda. Stage two, not stage two, a different type of Ananda. Bhajanananda. Bhajanananda means when the world outside has been turned inward and has started going inside, you have started experiencing a different type of pleasure, which is coming from a degree of what I can only use words here. I'm limited by words, but by saying higher degrees of feeling, the more subtle, elevated feelings. You are getting those feelings. Those feelings come to you when you are doing selfless service. You are sitting down and doing meditation, or you are doing some prayer, or you are doing some puja. Bhajanananda. However, Bhajanananda and Vishayananda both originate from this material world. Bhajanananda is superior. Both of them come and go. Both of them have gradations. What is the gradation of Vishayananda and Bhajanananda? Taittiriya Upanishad, Brahmananda Valli. It says, number one, you have to be young. Two, you have to be healthy. Three, you have to be wealthy. All the wealth in the world. It says, Yuvasya yuvadhyayakaha ashishto dvashta balishtaha tasye prithvi sarva vitta sampurna syat. Prithvi syab sampurna vitta syat. All the wealth in the world. Such wealth, Ananda, is called one unit. Let us put some units to Ananda. Sa eko manusha anandaha. Now, you multiply that by 100. 10 to the power 2. Yete shatam manusha anandaha sa eko manushya gandharvanam anandaha. Now he takes it one level higher and says, oh, there is a higher level of being who has a higher degree of ananda. Oh, why can't I get that particular ananda? You are physically not ready for it. Right? Like an electric current. Your wire is not yet thicker enough to take that much current. So you get a higher body, Manushya Gandharva. So you get a Manushya Gandharva. Then he says, Sa eko Manushya Gandharva namanandaha stotriyasya chakam mahattasya te ye shatam Manushya Gandharva namananda sa eko Deva Gandharva namanandaha. So he takes it to one more level. Manushya Gandharva becomes Deva Gandharva. Now, if you keep on doing this, he takes you to from Deva Gandharva. He says 100 of Deva Gandharva is equal to 1 Pitru. 100 of Pitrus takes you up to the Ajananam Devamanandaha. Right? Those Devas who were never born. To those Devatas, that is one level. 100 of that. The Eka Karma Devanamanandaha. Right? Karma Deva. Devatas who have become Karma Devatas, Agni, Indra, etc., etc. They have Karma Devas. They are the Devatas who do work. The Eka Karma Devamanandaha. Ye Karma Devanam Piyanti Strotriyasya Chakamanasya Yete Shatam Karma Devanam Manandaha. The Eko Devanam Anandaha. One Deva, the original Devas, the Adityas. Now, 100 of Devanam Anandaha is the one Indra Ananda. 100 of Indra, one Brihaspati. 100 of Brihaspati, one Prajapati. 100 of Prajapati, one Brahma. And then the Taittiriya Upanishad stops and says, you reached Brahma, but it is still material Ananda. It is still Vishayananda. Then what? Oh, then you have to stop here. This is the highest level of material Ananda, 10 to the power 20. If your one unit was what we talked about, being young, being healthy, and having all the wealth in the world, and also of a good mental disposition, and such a person, he is one unit. That unit multiplied by 10 to the power 20 is the amount of Ananda that Brahma is sitting on. But it is still material Ananda. Then what is it? Then you go beyond that, there is Brahmananda. So is Brahmananda a separate thing that I need to look at?
So isn't that itself Brahmananda?
No, it's not Brahmananda.
But it's Vishayananda.
It is still Vishayananda. Brahma is in the Vishaya world, right? What does the Bhagavad Gita say? Brahmalokan, he says, right? Right up to the Brahmaloka. The entire universe goes through cycles. So here, where did then this...
Brahma of the Tribhuti, right?
Yeah. Brahma, not Brahman. We're not talking of Brahman.
No, not Brahman.
So, our rishis intentionally did all this. Brahma, Brahman, Brahmanaha, all confusing words. And then you put all that together in English, you are completely confused because all the English does not have all the akar and ikar and everything at all. So you are completely confused as to what we are talking about. So anyway, so we are talking of Brahma, Hiranyagarbha, right? He who created this Chaturmurti, Chaturmukha, Vedamukha, etc., whatever his names are. Such a person, 10 to the power 20 of Ananda, where is the source of that Ananda is what Acharya is asking us to search. Vishaya did not bring me Ananda. Bhajan itself did not bring me Ananda. Then where was the Ananda? The Ananda was in me. What is this me? See, when you go back to Tattvamasi and I say, Tvam, what are you? Where are you? Who are you? I am here. That is the Vakyartha of Tvam. But what is the Lakshartha? Lakshartha is, I am the bodiless, mindless, intellectless consciousness that is eternal. That is the Lakshartha. So, when we look at this, we need to understand that this play into which we have been cast, it's a very tricky play. You see, you entered into a movie hall. Let's assume that you have never seen a movie. Okay. Or rather, this is Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa, or I don't remember. Either it is Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa or it is one of his disciples, immediate disciples, who used this particular upama. So there is the remote village, and there is a young boy, and the father tells the boy that, come, I will take you to the city. I will show you a movie. Obviously, that is a very, now today, an obsolete, outdated analogy, because today I think even a 3-year-old has seen a movie. But let us understand the analogy. So he says, fine, let me take you to a movie. So fine, let us go to the movie. So they go all the way to the movie. Now, when they enter the movie, into the movie hall, the movie is already on. Right? While the father was coming, he was explaining what is the movie. So he said, there will be a screen. On the screen, there will be some images. They will be talking, dancing, laughing, singing. They will be doing all that. So yes, okay, what are we going to see in that movie? Oh, we will see that story of Bhakta Prahlad. I love that story. I identify myself with that small child. I also like to see God in everything. Very good, very good. Let's go. So he goes there. When they are going there, they are seeing, the child sees Hiranyakashipu sitting over there on his throne, right? And he's doing, old time movies, they used to have overacting. So he's doing all that, and he's doing all that. And this boy is looking here and there, and he's saying, that is Hiranyakashipu. Yes, it is Hiranyakashipu. Papa, but you said there is a screen on which Hiranyakashipu will be there. Where is the screen? That is the screen. No, I can't see the screen. I can see Hiranyakashipu. Arey Baba, the Hiranyakashipu is on the screen. Oh, okay, I understood. The bamboo. No, not the bamboo. The screen, man. Now you see, that's our situation. We entered into this movie when the movie was on. So we are unable to see the screen, no? Screen nahi dikh raha hai. So when will the child see the screen? In those days, they used to have interval. Even now we have interval, but interval is also still the screen is operating because advertisements come, right? In those days, interval, they would show interval, and then the screen would go blank. I have seen the screen. We need to give ourselves that interval. Without that interval, you are going to be involved in the screen only because you can't see the screen. The screen is completely invisible to you because you are in the part of that screen. You are jumping around because we entered the movie when it was playing. So this very interesting situation, how do we get out of? How do we grip that interval to see that screen is what Aparokshanubhuti from now on is moving towards. So let us look for the next verse. We will start from verse number 57. Raghuji, will you chant?
Swapno jagarane likah. Swapno jagarane likah. Swapne nahi jagarah. Swapne nahi jagarah. Swapno jagarane likah. Swapne nahi jagarah. Dvayameva laye nasti. Dvayameva laye nasti. Layopi hyubhayor nacha. Layopi hyubhayor nacha. Dvayameva laye nasti. Dvayameva laye nasti. Layopi hyubhayer nacha. Swapno jagarane likah. स्वप्नेऽपि नहि जागरः द्वयमेव लये नास्ति लयोऽपि युभयोर्न च.
Swapna, dream state, jagarana, jagarane, in the state of waking up, alika becomes unreal, absent. Lika means to be there. Tvam lika, where are you? Ham itra lika, I am here. Alika, not real, not absent, it means absent. So, so where are you? It becomes alika. Swapne, api, also, not, na, he, indeed, jagaraha, dvayam, these two, eva, only, laye, in deep sleep, na, not, asti, there, laya, asti, deep sleep, api, also, he, verily, truly, ubhaya, in both. So what he is saying here, that these states are mutually exclusive of each other. These states are mutually exclusive of each other. Sorry, just give me 1 second. No, but what do we mean by exclusive of each other? I can only remember the earlier state in the one state.
Yeah, they are not overlapping.
They are not overlapping, right? So if I am awake, I can't be sleeping at the same time.
Yes.
If I am in the dream state, I am not sleeping or nor am I awake. But it very clearly says that because of this, the reality that I am looking at is very confusing for me. And I have used this in our classes quite often. How do you know you are awake? Right now, how do you know you are awake? You could be dreaming. You are dreaming that you have got up, you are sitting in front of the computer, and you are talking to me when we are having a conversation about what is Alika. In reality, you are Alika. How do you know? You know because right now you can go to sleep, wake up, and you will still find me here wearing the same shirt. Continuity helps us to think about the waking state, the dream state, and the deep sleep state. Now, what Acharya says here is that in which was present in all three states without any modification. It existed. It was pure existence. Now, going back to the movie, right? Is it possible for me to see the screen and also see the movie? Yes, no? Is it possible for me to
Can
see?
you repeat, please?
My question is it possible for me to see the screen and see the movie at the same time?
Not really, unless there is some gap. But since we know that there is a screen, we can know that it is there. But we will see it when the movie is over. When the movie is over, we will see the full screen properly.
Okay. Any other thoughts?
So here you have to define what do you mean by seeing the movie. To me, seeing the movie is to be immersed in the events that are happening on the screen. And when you are immersed in the events that are happening on the screen, you cannot see the screen, because the moment you see the screen, you are aware it's a projection. And the moment it's a projection, you're no longer immersed in the events that are happening.
Okay. Now see, what Lalitaji talked about and what Raghuji talked about are actually two different positions. Think about what you are saying. Right? When we take Raghuji's position and we are saying that I am completely involved and I am doing all my dancing around and I am running after all the Rasagullas that I am running after, then I am not aware of the screen at all. And for that matter, it is impossible for me to be aware of the screen. That is his position. when I'm going through, this is a stage in our growth. Okay, this is a stage in our growth. And when I'm in that stage, it is called Viparita Vada. Advaita has actually gone through, I mean, see, our rishis have actually gone through all this. They have asked these questions to themselves. They have gone through, they have dived deeper into this. So they say, so this is Viparita Vada. This is not possible. Viparita Vada. It is not possible. Right? Sorry, this is called Asambhavata Bhava. Asambhavata Bhava. This is not possible. This world is real. I am enjoying it. Oh, I am suffering it. And now I am enjoying it. And now I am suffering it. Now again I am enjoying it. This enjoyment, suffering, enjoyment, suffering, enjoyment, suffering. Oh, this is very real for me. Right? I can't see the measurement of what change is happening and on what basis. Asambhavata bhava. How do I get out of this? What is the answer? How do I get out of it? Sunil ji is also a part of our building Bhagavad Gita study group, and he has also joined here because, as I said, we have shared the links. So
we can get to know about the screen when we do the Shravan or study of the
absolutely,
of those
100%.
facts.
So the answer here is Shravanam. The answer is Shravanam, right? So I do Shravanam, I do Shravanam, I do Shravanam, I do Shravanam. I understand it. I now understand it. It's not yet reality for me. I understand it. So Raghuji has given a very beautiful example or explanation. So has Lalita ji. So is Samir giving us such a beautiful example. Screen, movie, all nice stories. I get it, but I don't get it. It's not happening for me. I'm still getting angry. I still feel that child is my child. My empathy has not pervaded and become universal. Right? All different stages of so-called sainthood that we are looking at. I'm still stuck with Aham Mama. This is called Viparita Bhava. Viparita Bhava. So how do you get out of it? That is that stage where you talked about, Lalita ji. It says, at some point of time, I need to get it when the movie has to be put off. Which is a different position. Now, how do you get there? What do you need to do? You've understood it. You know it is Sat. You know it is Chit. You know it is Ananda. One Brahma's Ananda equal to 10 to the power 20 of a human Ananda. That much Ananda you have also seen. All Vishaya Ananda. All coming from various things and objects that you are trying to consume, name and form. Where did that, how did that click happen?
It is being aware of it. Like, for example, not just the screen.
What can I do? What can I do? What can I do? I'm not getting it. I understand what you are saying, Lalita ji. I understand. You have told me there is a screen on which this projection is happening. But I am not getting that. I accept what you are saying. But
I need to leave the pole.
So what do you need to do here? What do you need to do? Kya karna padega? So the rishis put down the second step. It is called mananan, reflection. Having understood, unless I sit down and do what is called advaitik vichara, not japa. Japa is preparation for advaitik vichara. Once I start the process of advaitik vichara, that's when at one point of time it will click. But once I have seen the screen, can you unsee the screen ever?
It doesn't. You are always aware. That is
now you are always aware of the screen.
Projection.
You're always aware
of the projection.
Which is why,
just like we know who we are, what is our name or given name,
and which is why the Veda says Brahmavit Brahmaiva Bhavati. Right? Once you have seen it, you can't unsee it. It becomes part of you. You are permanently aware of the fact that this is entirely a projection. You are no longer affected by it. Will it not still happen? Oh, the movie will happen even now. The climax has not yet happened. Narasimha has still to come out. Right? The Gada has to be thrown at the pillar. Lakshmi has to still stand in front and shiver. Prahlad has to go with the necklace and garland him. All that is to happen. So much climax is left. But I know it is all a projection. So now I am enjoying it even more. Earlier I was thinking I was enjoying. Now I'm really enjoying. Because this has become an entertainment for me. When you go to the movie, what happens to you? You leave behind your worries, your cares, and your troubles, and you are getting immersed in another world. Whatever be that world, right? Romance हो सकता है, comedy हो सकता है, action movie हो सकता है, spy thriller हो सकता है, ghost movie हो सकता है. You are getting immersed in that world. You have forgotten or you've left behind some of those cares and troubles, and therefore you are entertained. You are feeling happy. Now, just imagine this.
More.
Yeah.
No, please go ahead.
Now just imagine that this entire projection, everything is now becomes an entertainment. I mean, the challenging position, somebody asked me, do saints ever cry? So, I tell them about Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa when Akshay died. So, when Akshay died, he lifted both his hands, he went into Samadhi, and he said, yay, one more gone, right? The Ishvara has said, this chap doesn't need to come back again. But when in the Vyavaharika Satta, the Aham Mama still will manifest. And when they were taking his body away and he was still standing there at the courtyard, he was racked with sobs. And his eyes were, he cried so much that his body became wet. Do saints ever cry? Of course they cry. Bhagavad Gita clearly says that. Ashnan, Shwapan, Ravan, Visrajan, all of that, right? All of the physical manifestations will continue to exist. To go back to your question, therefore, vasanas push me into this world of plurality. What is a vasana? Vasana is a desire. Where does the desire originate? Everything that we see has a cause, right? Gurudev's law of causality, right? Cause and effect. So causality. So we go back to the root cause. So what is the cause? My desire. What is desire coming from? Desire itself comes from Maya. So what is Vasana? Vasana is just another form of Maya. For me, since I cannot understand that Maya is also one unity, playing its role on Brahman, I am seeing different names and forms. In the Devi Bhagavat, it says that Shiva and Vishnu were having a discussion and were having a friendly argument, and Vishnu says, I have 1,000 names. In the Mahabharata, Bhishma, my devotee, recited 1,000 names. So Shiva laughs and says, same book, Mahabharata, I have 2,000 names. There are 2 times there are 2 Shiva Sahasranavas. So Devi, who's listening to all of these two, both of them talking, he laughs and says, both of you are fools. Even those 1,000 names are nothing but me, because that is a name and a form, and anything that has a name and a form is me. I am Mahamaya. Anything that has a name and form is Prakriti. Anything that has name and a form is Maya. We need to understand and engage with Maya to be able to disengage with her. Our problem is we engage at a distance, not close enough. And we see each form as different. And each form, even in the spiritual realm, we go into these forms and then we go into arguments. Sringeri, the Acharya of Sringeri, the present Acharyas, Paramacharya. Narsimha Tirtha was his name. Very, very profound philosopher. and a realized master himself. So one day there were two friends. In the south, the divide between the Shaivite and the Vaishnavite has been fairly strong. Used to be even stronger, and it's now broken down much. So the Shaivite, typically called a Ayyar, and the Vaishnavite, typically called an Iyengar, two close friends, Ayyar and Iyengar. However, were obviously in conflict as far as the nature of the ultimate reality. So they went to Narasimha Bharati. Narasimha Bharati, being a realized master, they approached him and said, please tell us whether the ultimate reality was Tripunda or Urdhva Tripunda, which means, is the mark like this or is it like this? Narasimha Bharati smiled and said, till now, I have only seen the feet. When I see the head, I will tell you. We are so stuck with name and form, even in the spiritual realm, that we get into unnecessary, stupid arguments. Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa used to worship Kali, and in his process of worship, he used to take a sacred thread and put it on her. Now, in the ancient period, in the Vedic period, there is an Upanayan Sanskar for ladies also. It is very much there. However, ladies do not wear a sacred thread in current modern times, including Sri Ramakrishna's time. So what happened? Somebody came and said, Arey, Sri Ramakrishna, he said, Kali is a woman. Why are you putting a thread on her? Sri Ramakrishna turned and said, I'm so happy that you have gone close enough for you to be able to find out whether she is a woman or a man. Because for me, she is everything. So, see, we have to understand that we have to go beyond the name and form. So the vasana that is tying us into the world of plurality itself is the source of bondage. It is Maya. So what you gave in the answer was correct. Just take it one step further, and that is the answer, right? That it itself is originating from that world of plurality in which I am so engaged that I'm seeing it as different. So when we get there, here he's saying that these three states which are very different from each other, is there a state in which I can be a witness to all three states? For example, are you aware of the state of deep sleep? Not when you are sleeping, but when you wake up, are you aware that you slept? Yes. The sleeper was not there anymore. The person who was sleeping is not there anymore. Right? The consciousness is the same. The person who was sleeping is not there. The body, mind, intellect. The dreamer has dreamt a very violent dream in which he is either being bitten by snakes, chased by a dog, chased by a mad dog, chased by whatever your subconscious is throwing up at you as terrifying. You wake up with a sweat, you wake up with palpitation. And as you wake up, you realize that it was a dream, and therefore this was completely not affecting you anymore. Is there a state from the Jagaran state that I can wake up to and see these three states as a witness? Mandukya Upanishad puts a very beautiful name to this and calls it Turiya. No name for it. They give it the fourth. I don't know. Yeah, I have no understanding of what to name it, and they call it the fourth. The state in which I am aware of the three states that exist. Right now in the Jagaran state, you are aware of the fact that there is a dream state and there is a Sushupti. Yeah, there is Sushupti, Laya here. It's called Laya here. Or in this shloka, it is called Laya in Sushupti. Is there a state, that state in which we can have the experience of all these states Because the changeless substratum on which all these changing states can exist, that needs to be experienced. And that is what is defined as Sat. That is what is defined as Sat. I have a Manan exercise for all of us. All of us have to do this. Look, take any object around you, any physical object. It could be your AirPods or whatever, your coaster, right? Examine it in front of you and contemplate its existence. In this, what do you mean by contemplate its existence? Just think about it and say, what were its states that existed before it became this? Trace its journey. And at each point of time as it is transforming, examine whether the existence itself, not of the airport, because that is only a name and a form, but the existence itself, the quintessence of existence itself, of this thing, was it ever in doubt? Now, when I'm speaking, it sounds, oh, this is self-evident. But when you actually start doing that, first start with this, and then start with, slowly bring it to yourself, and start examining your own existence. What were states in which you have gone through and you have found yourself to continue to exist in all those states? Third level, at every point of time for 1 week as we progress, at least for 10, 15 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever is possible, be aware of the fact that what is happening around you is just transformation of certain external elements, the existence of you not changing. Be aware of that. So what we are doing right now is called Shravan. What I'm giving you right now as an exercise.
Can you repeat the third point, please?
Just be aware of the fact that whatever is happening around you are changes that are happening around you and not in you. You are observing those changes, whether they are in the body, whether they are there, right? There is a sadhu called Premanandji. Premanandji is he's there on Instagram quite often. You should see him. So joyous, buoyant, vibrant. Every alternate day he goes for dialysis. And if you know anybody who is going through dialysis, they will tell you it's extremely painful. And he comes back from the dialysis, sits on the podium, and he gives you a lecture. And in his lecture, he is completely joyous. Why? Because he has seen the screen. So again, coming back to whether do saints cry? Well, at a physical level, yes, you can see them crying. But at what stage do they exist? Their existence is in permanent bliss. They observe themselves crying and they laugh at that also. So that is our exercise for the day. I think there was a lot of catching up to do, and which is why we took up only one particular shloka, which is the nature of Sat. Sat, the nature of Sat being that it is the essence of existence that runs through everything that is surrounding. We will slowly move, Acharya will move us from Sat to Chit to Ananda, but that is the entire gamut of Aparokshanubhuti, and that is how we will progress. Yes, please, Ravi.
After I've been reviewing again the verses up to this point, I noticed it's actually brilliant how he builds the argument.
Yes.
He starts, he after doing all the necessary invocations, he goes into talking about the stupidity of identifying our identity with the body, And he gives so many examples. He says, how can you be more stupid than this? And then he goes to the next phase where he is the where, you know, when the Dvaitist says, yeah, but this is already given to us in our scriptures, that there is the Purusha and the Prakriti, and then what is this? Where are you going with this? He says, but then you know, you may have stopped your identification with the body, mind, but the body being unreal is not absent. It's not like it doesn't exist. It exists, and it is also eternal in its own way. You know, and then he says, what's the substrate of both is Brahman. And
So,
it's quite nicely he builds it up.
So you have to understand one thing about Acharya. And on Guru Purnima, I will be talking about Acharya also. I mean, I will be talking more about Gurudev, but no, I can't promise that, because for me, generally talking about Gurudev gets me into stopping talking. But we will talk definitely about Acharya. We will talk about Vedavyasa. But Acharya here, very clearly, you see, you have to remember that he was taking the Advaitic position. Advaita existed before him also. He's not the founder of Advaita school, right? Mandukya Upanishad Karika was written by his guru's guru, Gaudapad. Advaita was a position. Dvaita was also a position. These were not, Madhvacharya did not invent Dvaita. Ramanujacharya did not invent Vishishta Advaita. These were philosophies that existed. These people codified them, formulated them, made them more available, and so on and so forth. Shankaracharya was at that point of time, if you look at the sort of intellectual ability of that period, during his period, there were huge greats who were amazing debaters, right? Mandana Mishra, Sureshwaracharya later on, right, was known to have gone into Sabhasads and defeated 600 debaters in one go. 600 debates, having won all of them. Right? These are the quality of people with whom he was debating. So you can imagine the quality of his debating style and his ability to bring forth arguments. What people normally remember or say, and most history books talk about, is that Advaita position was brought about and because Buddhist was becoming very important and so on. It was not only Buddhism. He was countering the Sankhya view, he was countering the Dvaita view, he was countering the Vishishtadvaita view, he was countering all internally within Hinduism, whatever those the views were within the Vedika Vedanta. Vishishtadvaita is also called Vedanta. Dvaita is also called Vedanta. Therefore, we have to be specific. It is Advaita Vedanta that we are talking about. And the Advaitic position is what he took, taking it from the Upanishads directly. Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma, Ekam Brahma, Ekameva Dvitiyam, there is no second, etc., etc. Right? He was picking up on these and he was building that. But these arguments that we were talking about, existence, how do I know that it exists? What is this level? What do we mean by existence? What do we mean by Chit? What is consciousness? What do we mean by Ananda? Where is Ananda coming from? Our rishis did that work, and he then codified it into far easier arguments and brought it forward for us. So amazing. I mean, if you look at his span of life, 32 years, and of which his working life was only 24 years, because he took sannyas at the age of 8 and he went up to his guru who was at the Narmada, walked up from Kerala, somewhere near Cochin, all the way up to Omkareshwar. A 7-year-old child walking there, reaching there at the 8th year, and then being asked, who are you? He says, Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. And what an intellect. So there is this Chandrasekhar Swamigal, Paramacharya of Kanchi. He was asked, which is the most important Hindu festival? And he said, the most important Hindu festival is Shankara Jayanti. Because if Shankara Jayanti was not there, if Shankara was not there, then we would not have had Vedic Dharma today as it exists. So the most important festival is Shankaracharya. So anyway, let us close for the day. Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. So Sunil ji and